Good day, and welcome to a special one-hour edition of Meet the Press. Our guest today, former President Richard Nixon. Thank you very much for joining us after much too long a time. We're delighted to have you with us. And as we welcome you, I should also note that your first appearance on Meet the Press was back in September of 1952 when you were running for vice president, and we thought you might like to take a look at a brief clip from that program.
Ladies and gentlemen, our guest on Meet the Press is Senator Richard Nixon, Republican of California.
I predict that millions of Democrats this year, both North and South, are going to put their country above their party and vote for General Eisenhower. And I believe that that's going to be the decisive factor in an Eisenhower victory.
Well, Mr. President, what do you think of that fellow compared to the politicians you see these days?
Well, that's one of the first times I've ever seen myself on television. As I was telling you before the show began, I simply have a phobia about that, but I must say I looked a bit younger then, but I was.
I talked to so many people this week in preparing for this interview, and I must say that, and I'm sure you won't be surprised to hear this, they have very ambivalent feelings about you. They think that you make great sense on foreign policy, perhaps more sense than almost anyone else on the public scene these days. But on the other hand, there is still a deep feeling about the breach of trust in Watergate. How do people reconcile that?
Well, it's very difficult to reconcile, and I understand that, because Watergate was a breach of trust. I think to keep it in perspective somewhat, and I think it is important that as we consider this historical segment of the program that we put it in perspective, that 1972, as you know, was a very big year. A lot of things were going on. Winston Churchill once wrote that strong leaders usually do the big things well, but they foul up on small things, and then the small things become big. I should have read that before Watergate happened. In 1972, we went to China, we went to Russia, we ended the Vietnam War effectively by the end of that year. Those were the big things. And then here was a small thing, and we fouled it up beyond belief. It was a great mistake, it was wrong, as I pointed out over and over again. But under the circumstances, now people, as they judge that period, have to see what we accomplished and what we did wrong. And for the future, I would advise all those that follow me in the position of president, do the big things as well as you can. But when a small thing is there, deal with it fast, get it out of the way, because if you don't, it's going to become big and then it may destroy you.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here, and then click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.